I guess the rendition camp was always like a bit in my brain. Like I wanted to go to the Middle East. I wanted to go, I wanted it to be like Zero Dark 30. That kind of rendition camp, done sort of Orphan Black style. We try and do it with a little more humor than Zero Dark 30 though.
John was really instrumental in the drive to create this hot, sweaty desert atmosphere, this black site where people get swallowed up. It's contemporary, it's real, and that's where we decided to take our clones.
I want a very different look and feel, a place that we know when we go there, we are nowhere near home.
We just didn't want to take them too far from home and felt like, that a black site could just as easily be in New Mexico or over the border in Mexico, rather than, renditioning them all the way to the Middle East.
We talked about, like, how do we do this? How do we make this work in Canadian winter? And I had spent a bunch of time shooting with our cinematographer, Aaron Morton, doing a series called Spartacus. And all of the ludus and the villas and the towns and everything is inside. It's inside a studio. And Aaron is very familiar with lighting sets that are supposed to look outside and make them, indoor sets and make them look outside.
I really enjoy creating exterior situations in the studio, mostly because I've got complete control of the light. The sun stays where I put it all day.
From design to finish, it was probably 6 weeks, I guess. It went up fast. I mean, with a lot of people working on it. We're using it heavily pretty much every single episode. I think we'll be done with it by episode 6.
The rendition camp started off very small and grew substantially to the point where we've got a camera about 2 or 3 kilometers outside of it looking back into it.
You can see we've got blacks here, there's a light blue there, and then the blue screen here. The blacks we use for night. We're doing a lot of night sequences, so we just use blacks around the stage. This blue is for, if we don't want to make it into a big vis effect thing, we can just, you're just catching a little piece of sky. Sometimes we'll use that. The rest of the time, all of our daylight skies out here is the blue screen, and then we can choose the sky look that we want.
We've always done minor set extension and matte work, but this season we have done more of that than any other season.
I shot a scene up here with Dylan and Kyra, who play Paul and Dr. Cody, and we shot this scene up here with the two of them talking with all this in behind, and there's all our Black Ops military guys and Jeeps driving in, and it looked great.
The one thing we quite often do at the monitors is just hold our hands up to our eye, and as soon as you block out the blue screen, you actually buy it completely as being real.
To stylize the rendition camp, we made the decision that we would shoot all of the rendition camp handheld. It's very hot and burnt out and warm. So everyone's sweaty and there's a lot of contrast in the shadows. It's quite a beautiful look, but it's definitely different for our show.
I don't know how many lights are on the ceiling, but there's probably, 100?
This is Aaron's design for giving us a kind of a overall sort of daylight feel.
I use a big space light array, so it's multiple lights combined to create an overall soft light, as though it's the sky. You've still got one hard light that is the sun, but it's trying to get enough broad sources a long way away to have the shadows feel real, so that people subconsciously see them and feel them without even sort of thinking about it.
Aaron and the camera guys actually quite often would just bring a flashlight up to shoot into the lens to create that sort of sense of light and heat from everywhere.
My favorite part is of being on that set is being able to drive one of Paul's old Jeeps or Land Cruisers and just drive in like fast and slam on the brakes and do a little skid, just barely missing camera. Not a stunt driver, but they trust me enough to do that.
The set is amazing. It's the first set that we've had that's really a full studio, and you can walk kind of from room to room and cell to cell, and there's a courtyard, and it's really a fully fledged place. It's not the most pleasant to work in, But that's kind of what makes it great.
Out in the desert, you wouldn't have a machine pumping smoke in. That's the difference between shooting on a set and shooting in the actual desert. I might have preferred the desert.
The dust gets kicked up in there.
You know, the dust was great. The crew hated it, but I loved it. It's good, you know. Again, it just a level of reality with the dirt.
The dirt floor set's pretty much everywhere, and even in behind in the cells, it's all sand and dirt floors.
A lot of people have been having problems with sand inhalation.
There's a syndrome happening. It's called rendition cough.
When we cough now, we call it rendition because I think it's still coming up, the sand and the dust and the dirt.
You blow black every time you go home after.
Well, it's dusty in here. I don't know. If you're sensitive to dust, then you will have some issues with the rendition set. I'm not sensitive to dust.
There was one guy whose job all day was just to wet it. He would just wet the sand, and then by the time he got to the end, this end was dry again, and he'd have to start all over again.
Cut, let's do another cut. Thank you. Let's open some doors and get some air.
I don't know how many weeks we were there, 6 weeks maybe. We're pretty well done with it by the time we got out of rendition. It's hot. Plainly, it's hot.
Yeah, the lights are extremely hot.
Makeup tends to fall. People get tired.
It felt like we were outside. Everybody was in t-shirts and, you know, things wrapped around their head to ward off the sweat. And outside it was minus 40.
We had people applying sweat and perspiration, and after a couple of hours in, I'd say you can sit down and relax because it's all there. You don't have to do anything now.
At the end of episode 5, Helena escapes, so she gets up on that Jeep down there, and then jumps onto the wooden post in the middle, gets onto that ledge, runs along the ledge, jumps that gap all the way along the end, and then leaps from that corner over onto that wood pillar back there, and then climbs the wall.
So they had a stunt double do the majority of the kind of getting from one spike to the next, but then they would put Tat in the harness and have her kind of just jump on it and kind of mime that she's just landed on it.
It was awesome. I felt like Peter Pan. I was in like a harness right there, and I got to climb up that wall, and it was terrifying, but so much fun. And I think it really sells the moment when you can see Helena's face coming over and not kind of shot from over here to sort of hide the stunt doubles.
I mean, it doesn't look that high from back here, but it's a good, 14-foot drop. It looked awesome. We're constantly trying to make this set look like a different place because the set is meant to be much bigger. So we're always trying to give it a bigger feel, make us feel like we're not just in one little courtyard the entire time. I love this set. It's a really awesome set to work on because there's lots of space and different places that you can shoot, and I really think this set has been very successful for us.